Information to help you run your business better and improve your marketing campaigns. My name is Hank Hoffmeyer, and thank you for joining me on Hank's Marketing and Business Tips. Welcome to episode 269 of the Hmbt podcast. We're on video. We're going to talk about video today. I'm joined by guest Christi Lowe. She is the owner of Christi Lowe Productions, and she is an Emmy award-winning video producer. It was a no-brainer to ask Christi to be on the show today because numerous times I've mentioned video is one of the most powerful forms of marketing, and you need to be doing it more, especially with the pandemic. You're sitting in front of a camera all day. Why don't you record your life or record some marketing that you can do? Christi, I appreciate you being on today, and I think we're gonna have a great discussion.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
It's great. And I know you have a lot of experience. And when I asked you to be on the show, we were talking about what do we discuss and what do we talk about? And I think that we hit the nail on the head when we sat there and said, well, we should talk about what kind of videos work and what do we need to be doing as marketers or small business owner, and how can we be making our videos better, whether it's just camera tips, whether it's content, or anything we can think of. And that's a different angle I think we could take today versus some of the people I've had on in the past, because it sounds like you're going to have some great wealth of information to share with us. So let's hop right in. What kind of videos work? And that is a blanket question to you.
Yeah, and I'm probably going to give you somewhat of a blanket answer. No, I'm just kidding. It really depends a lot on the kind of business that you have, right? So it's not cookie cutter, right? If you own a dry cleaning business, your video strategy is going to be a little bit different from somebody who's in the restaurant industry or someone who's running an upscale boutique, right? But in general, there are a lot of marketing statistics out there that talk about the kinds of videos that people really like and that they relate to. So for example, your brand story, you got to get people to know a little bit about you as a person, your why do you do what you do? How did you get started in the business? What is it that makes you tick? And then that kind of helps them understand you and connect with you and make them more engaged, right, with you and your company. And then they feel like they know, like, and trust you, and they're more likely to do business with you. So brand stories are huge. If you're selling a product, individual videos about the products that you sell, what they are, how they work, kind of showing that, very, very effective, because studies show that consumers are like 60 some odd% more likely to buy a product if they've seen a product video. And you probably are familiar with that, Hank. If you scroll through Facebook, you see all sorts of product videos, right? Of diet pills and exercise gadgets and so on and so forth. So product videos are huge. Customer testimonials, they've been around
let's
forever.
do this. I just thought of a great thing to do, an exercise, kind of like a game. What I want to do is say a 1 or 2 word, maybe 3 word industry. And I want you to come back with a 1 or 2 or 3 word reply. Like we just said, products, right? So if somebody's e-commerce, you would say product highlights or something like that. Let's play that game. And maybe I say something similar. You could say, if you said product highlights, you might want to say something like testimonials, right? Does that make sense? Kind of like I'll say an industry and you tell me a type of, and we'll dive back into the deep water.
Right.
Let you just give me like your quick, so almost like game show type of response. Like if I said
Lord.
financial
Put
advisor.
me on the spot, Hank.
Yeah. If I said financial advisor, what would you say?
Tips and advice.
Tips and advice. And there's a lot of that going on TikTok, folks, right now. I see a lot of financial folks and lawyers on there. So you might want to take a look at that. All right. E-commerce.
Oh, obviously product videos.
Taxes.
Oh, where to file, how to file. Those would be tips too.
Consultant.
How about your brand story? Consultants, brand story.
Love it. Love it. Boutique clothing.
Products. And a behind the scenes tour.
Software as a service, like, online software.
How to do something, how to fix something, how to know if you've got problems on your computer.
Manufacturing.
Behind the scenes, how it's made.
Awesome. Love that. And I'm starting to struggle to think of some more, but there's millions of them. Photographer,
Oh, well, obviously you've got to show before and after.
author.
An author, ooh, how about live speaking or a live book read?
Love that. And I have a course for authors and how they can market their book, and that's what I put in there. That's one of the items
Really?
is live book reading. Yep. Record yourself
We,
or chapter samples and stuff. Awesome.
yeah, you're going to read
Let's
it better than anyone else, presumably, if you
yeah.
wrote it.
Woodworker.
Oh, obviously some hmm, woodworker. I think definitely a brand story, but also some stories featuring your creations, right? Start to finish, watching you make it.
Time lapse, maybe.
Time lapse would be awesome. The time lapses are good for construction in general.
Brewery.
Obviously, the how it's made, but not as a time. Well, you could do a time lapse, but I want to see that hops, boiling and distilling and all of that. Definitely the how it's made.
Hole in the wall restaurant.
Oh, that's a tough one. I want to see steaming hot plates of food, the dishes that you serve make my mouth water and I have to go there.
For me, anything with cheese.
Cheese and bacon
Cheese, yeah, cheese and bacon together. Yes. One
and
more.
onions.
Travel.
Oh, obviously travel blogs.
All right. I like that. I appreciate you going through that. It's scary to go through something like that to think on the fly, but I think that was a
I,
great little
I'm
exercise.
not good at, I'll never be on a game show because I'll crack under pressure.
Me too. I can't think that quickly. My ideas have to fester in my mind and then they come out and then they're good.
Right. Yeah, I'm very creative, but I got to mull over your situation and come up with a plan, right?
Right. And I know a lot of times us creatives, you'll get thrown the question or like, what do I do to do better video? You can't give a simple answer. It never really comes down to that, because
Yeah.
you might, well, what kind of equipment do you have? What kind of, microphone do you have? What kind of personality do you have or your staff? You have to go through all that. Then you can start actually giving the advice. So that was actually difficult for me too, in a way, like, because I know I put you on the spot and I was struggling to come up with some industries, but I think one thing we proved is that everyone can do video.
Oh, yeah. It is something that everyone can do and should be doing.
All right, so let's dive into this two-part question. If somebody's not using video currently, what are the steps that they should use or do to get started? And then if somebody's already currently doing or using video, creating video, whatever you want to call it, but they feel like they can be doing better, what are some tips for those people? So let's start with, I have a business, but I don't really do any kind of videos.
Hmm. So I would suggest you start small, right? Like, don't overwhelm yourself thinking you've got to do a feature film, right? Or a $30,000 commercial style of quality video. Start small, start with something that's easy to do, something that you can kind of harness your knowledge and your passion for what you do. So, like what we're doing right now, this kind of a video podcast, right? Super easy to do. Not a lot of technology needed to pull it off. Just get used to being in front of the camera, talking about what you do, why you love it, and those kinds of things, showing your products, and then work up from there. So I would say always start with something small and simpler to do and work up to that. And in terms of getting better at what you do, a lot of that is just practice, but there's a lot of people out there who do it for a living, such as myself, who can teach you how to do it and
Right.
how to do it right. Because you don't want to do, I mean, people are very forgiving to a certain extent for something like platform like this. It doesn't have to be technically perfect. But if you're going to be putting something on your website, then you might want to bring in a professional until you get up to that level of production yourself.
I always cringe when I go back to my YouTube channel and I look at some of my earlier videos. But then again, I
Yeah.
got started, I did something, and without me saying that, people would probably look at them and not think of anything of it. But I changed little things as I went along. And if
Mhm.
you look at my videos, you'll see I didn't start in the office I'm in. Then I got into the office, and a lot of this was not here, and then the lighting wasn't here. And I did, like you said, I got started and I added little things along the way. I started adding lights. I started adding the, the LED lights here, little props. And then, I just kept getting better and better. Finally invested in a microphone, all those things. And that's what you need to do, is invest like you would in your company. You're going to invest in your company so you can grow it, like invest in marketing, invest in making your product or service better, hiring a speaking coach or whatever it is. Start investing in things to help you do your video. And as you mentioned, maybe you can hire somebody to do some professional videos, and it can be even just a teaser. You can hire somebody on Fiverr to do something like that too. Don't think because of the pandemic you can't have somebody come out and do video. You can
Right.
send clips to people, or they can do it over Zoom like we're doing now, and you just get started and then learn and you watch some YouTube videos on how to create better videos. That's what I did with my video editing. And that's great. Get started, use what you have, and then invest in your
Right.
skills and your technology.
And add, yeah, exactly. Add to the technology as you go, and add to your skill, knowledge, training that you take kind of as you go. And, this day and age, even if all you have is your cell phone, right? If it's one of the newer iPhones, I mean, I'm using my iPhone right now. You can do some really nice quality videos with your iPhone. You just need a microphone. There's apps that you can use to make the picture quality better. There's easy editing apps that you can use. Some of them do part of the work for you. Some of them are more, um, take a little bit more skill to finesse. But yeah, you got to start small, work your way up, and the more you do it, the better you'll get.
Okay. Game show number 2, Mythbusters.
Mm,
Is sound more important than the video quality?
no.
No. Okay. I've heard that people could suffer through video quality as long as the sound is good and the value you're getting out of the message is good. But I guess
Mm.
it's circumstantial too.
I disagree with that. I think your sound and your video are equally important. And I'll tell you why. It's super annoying to watch a really, really nice looking video and you can't, and the audio is terrible, super annoying, and you're missing the message, right? Like you can glean some of the message from the imagery, especially if you're putting text on the screen and things like that, like you should be doing for Facebook videos. That way, if they don't have the sound turned on, they can
Yeah.
still figure out what's going on. But it's also equally annoying if the sound is good and the video quality is bad. For example, and I'm not picking on real estate agents, but I'm just going to throw that out there. For example, a real estate tour of a property that someone's shooting with their phone and they're all over the place with it, up and down, shaky, walking around. And even the older phones that don't have as good a camera, that don't adjust for the color settings when you're moving from room to room to room. I mean, I don't watch those because it's frustrating. Um, it makes
Right.
me nauseous. I get motion sickness pretty easy. So if you're going to be doing all that walking and spinning around, I'm turning that off. So I think that audio and video quality are equally
Awesome. Yeah, I was going to turn around while you were talking to see if I can find it. I haven't used it in a while, but it's called a gimbal, and it
important.
has a handle, and then it has this little bracket you put your phone on. It's got
Yes.
motors in it. And when you move
Yes.
your hand, you're going up and down stairs, the phone stays straight.
Yep.
Recommend getting one of those for folks that are moving and doing videos. There's a bunch of different brands out there that sell them. You can buy microphones for your iPhone or your iPad as well as for your
Hmm.
computer. I have the Rode Video Micro, which we used to actually
Yeah.
trade over here. It's this little guy with a dead cat on it. It's really just a
Yep.
shotgun microphone. And for folks on video, I'm just showing a microphone that I use with my iPhone and on my camera behind me.
I have
Or
that
you can use
exact
like a
same
Yeti.
one too.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
You know what else? Does my audio quality sound okay right now?
It does.
Well, I'm just using my ear pods that
There
I've
you go.
paid $30 for. So there
So
you go.
I would just recommend doing like some tests, right? Do a test video, do a
Yeah.
test, audio with the video, and just see if you sound okay and good. And like you said, it has to be equal, 50-50 as is the new takeaway I take from game show number 2.
Well, really, if I could change my answer, I would say if you're going to force me to choose one over the other, video quality is more important than audio because you could put text on the screen, like I said.
Okay. But if you could not, if the universe did not allow you to do that, would you say
Yeah,
50-50 or audio is more important?
I'd say 50-50.
Okay. And I'll put a link in the show notes. And I do have an affiliate account, but I use a program called ClipScribe. It allows you to
Mhm.
upload videos, and on the back end, it does all of the transcription, and you can go back and edit
Mhm.
it. Automatically burns it in. You can have a timer that goes
Nice.
around or at the bottom, as well as put text in the header at the top. You guys have probably seen, everybody who listens, if they watch some of my videos, but there's other services out there. Look for transcription or something like that. YouTube does it. The only thing is, it doesn't burn it into the videos, folks. What you need to do is let it do the transcription, then you download it, and then put it into your video editor of choice, burn it in, and then re-upload it to fit to YouTube. Um, Hit me up if any questions on that. So let's go back, because this was kind of a two-part question, and I broke it up with the game show number 2. The other one is, I'm doing videos now. I like
Right.
doing it, but my results are kind of meh. What do I need to do? What do I need to look at? What do I need to invest in? Or what is it that I need to be doing better or more?
Well, that's kind of a broad question, right? Because, like you
Yes.
said, not everyone's going to have the same issue, right? If you showed me one of your videos, I could critique it, pretty much tell you what you need to improve on. But as a general rule, I would say there's kind of 4 or 5 common mistakes that I see a lot of professionals doing that are making videos that are not that hard to fix. One of
Okay.
them we already kind of talked about, the shaky video, right? Get a tripod, get a camera tripod, a tabletop tripod like the one my phone is sitting on, get a gimbal like you're talking about, a 3-way gimbal. Just don't be doing the shaky video. That's annoying and it doesn't look professional. The other thing is blurry video, right? Which, if you're using a cell phone or something that has an automatic focus, autofocus on it, where you can, stop that. Stop it. Or you can just touch the screen and focus. You may not have to worry about the autofocus so much unless you're Hancock Fire, and
So
then
now
you
people are
might,
going to want to
but
go to the video to see what I did.
yeah. But some cameras, if you're using your DSLR or something, you need to make sure it's in focus. And I'm getting older, and sometimes when I'm shooting with my big ENG style camera, I'll think something's in focus because it looks like it's in focus to me. But my eyesight's not as good as it once was, so I have to use the little focus close-up button to make sure I really do have
Right.
my subject in focus before I start. Otherwise, you come back and it's just a little bit soft, little bit blurry. So that's an easy fix. You have to make sure you're in focus. So stable, focused, color. I see all kinds of off-color video, and by off-color, I don't mean dirty jokes and that sort of thing. I mean, like, your video is a little bit too orange, or it's a
Yeah.
little bit too green, a little bit too. That's an easy fix too.
Right. I'm
What
still
else?
learning about
Shaky. Okay.
white balance and stuff like that with my
Yes,
cameras. Yeah.
it's important. And if you a lot of the camera apps that I've recommended people have a slider where you can adjust your color temperature based on kelvins, and so you can kind of just, I say, you don't have to know everything about lighting temperatures, right, or color temperatures, but if you just kind of adjust it until something that's white in your image looks as white on your picture as it does in person, it's probably pretty close. I mean, you kind of just make sure it looks white, right? So the color temperature is big. And then lighting in general, not too dark. Your video is not too dark or too bright. And that's an easy fix too. It's either a tabletop light, which is probably something like what you've got right now, or positioning yourself next to a window so there's some natural light coming in, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Those are like some easy things you can do to up your game. And then the audio, use a microphone. I mean, I see people on LinkedIn even that are, and business coaches, people that are coaching for a living, that are putting out videos where they're just kind of doing I guess it's the trendy thing to do now, the little talk to your phone.
Yeah.
They're not using any microphone or anything, and they're walking around and the picture's bouncing up and down and all over the place. Uh, I mean, that's an easy fix.
Right. Yeah, I think if you hit those basics, you're still going to do good. Now, obviously, if you have a high production environment where there's folks on TikToks, like you could tell they're spending, hours, 20 hours on one
Mhm.
video, and they're awesome and they're great and they're engaging and
Yeah.
entertaining. But to build that KLT, that know, like, and trust, just by having a professional video that's not shaky, that has good lighting and good audio, you will meet the goal of building that KLT. And then you grow from there over time. And maybe at some point you're going to make so much money because you're doing a lot of video, a lot of advertising, et cetera, that you can actually hire somebody to do all this production for you.
Yeah, and that's from a technical standpoint. The other thing I didn't really mention is in terms of getting better is just having a strategy for what you're going to do with your video and sort of planning it out ahead of time. So you've got bullet points about what you want to say and also what you want to show. So if you're going to edit in some images, kind of storyboard that out so you're not winging it so much,
Right.
because that's going to help your videos to be better as well because you put thought and effort into them instead of just winging it.
Right. And I'd say be careful with using scripts. And I know there's these apps for the iPads that act as teleprompters and all that. And then
Hmm.
that's great. And for me, I cannot make it sound like it's coming off the cuff. It sound, you could tell I'm reading. But what I've learned to do is have notes, like you were just mentioning, talking points that come up. And then I
Hmm.
remember what I need to talk about and just allow that time. And I actually built my own little teleprompter that I can put my camera or my iPhone behind it. It cost me $3 to
Yep,
build. It had some
that's
scrap
awesome.
wood and I used a frame, and it allows me to put my phone behind there and use it
Hmm.
as, or up on the top, and then use that as a teleprompter.
Where
So
were
that's a
you
great
when I
way.
started my business, Hank? I had to buy my teleprompter gadget like that. Mine was like 800 or 900 bucks.
Right. And
So
well,
I'd
what you
rather
can
have
do,
your $3 version.
well, there's ones that go on the iPhone and the text goes close to the lens. So when you're looking,
Yeah.
same thing with the iPad. I just couldn't get used to those, and I wanted to use my Panasonic camera to do the
Hmm.
recording, which actually worked. But yeah, I would just say, like you said, have talking points. And a lot of
Yeah.
times, and I guess I want to add too, make sure you're looking at the lens of your camera, because
Right.
it's important to have eye contact with the audience, not yourself on the screen, which a lot of
Hmm.
people tend to do. What I like to do sometimes is put something behind the camera and look at that, whether it's
Yeah.
a picture of someone, something, or put your talking points on a sticky note in back of the camera so you're looking at the camera rather than
Yeah.
saying, well, my next topic is, and you're looking off camera. If you see me on video, I'm looking off camera. You want to be looking at your notes so it looks like you're looking at
Hmm.
the audience, and that's confidence right there. And
Right.
that shows that you've prepared for your video.
And there's apps that you can use with your phone that are teleprompter apps.
Yep.
And so you don't even really need that gadget that you've got because you just use the app and it'll
Yep.
scroll for you and you can kind of just look right into the camera like what you were saying and while you
Yep.
look at your notes or read your script or whatever it is.
Yeah, there's one called Parrot, one called Big View, and there's some other ones out there, and you folks
Mhm.
should look into those. And it allows you to just put your phone on like a tripod, and as you mentioned, it scrolls. You can even change the speed. You can
Yep.
upload like a Word document to your phone or a Google Doc, and it turns it into a script for you. It's awesome. Christy, it's been
It
great
is.
having you on the show. I know you have a master course that you want to tell us about,
I do.
and this sounds like something that folks listening today probably can look at and be interested in and become better video creators. Tell us a little bit about that
Yeah.
course.
Yeah. So I created this course exactly for either people who've never done videos before and they're starting from scratch, or like you said, they've been doing videos and they want to get better. And so it's a 5-part master course. It's 3 hours worth of video training materials. And, I've been doing this for 30 years. So I started way back at the beginning. I mean, I had to think about what did I learn when I knew nothing and sort of the process of where to start. How do you even start? And then work your way through. And so the first class is all about video marketing, why you should be doing it, the kinds of videos that work. I give you examples of that with clickable links so you can go watch those videos for yourself. Class 1 is all about planning and preparation and planning your video strategy. Class 2 is videography. So it's practical hands on tips that you can use to do great videos, different angles you can do, how not to make those mistakes we talked about being out of focus and poor lighting, things like that. Class 3 is audio basics, how to get better audio, not only what gadgets to buy, but how to place them on your clothing so they don't look
Nice.
hideous. And if you're wearing a dress, it's a little more challenging, but I can show you how to do it. Class 4 is editing. And so we illustrate how to edit videos, basics of editing, transitions, putting text on your screen, moving clips around, things like that. I'm demonstrating on the Adobe platform, which is what we use, but I also recommend some easy beginner friendly software that you can get for your laptop. so that you can edit with something that's a little bit easier for beginners. And then class 5 is the cell phone version. So we take everything that we go over in the first 4 classes and we apply it to if you're going to do everything with just your cell phone. And so there's a lot of information in this course. People really want to start doing videos. This course would be great for them.
Awesome. Links in the show notes in case you're interested in checking that out. And Christi, if folks wanted to get to know an Emmy award-winning video producer, how would they do that?
How would they get in touch with me? Is that what you're
Yes.
asking?
How can we find out more about you and what you do?
Yeah. All right. Well, obviously, you can go to my website, which is ChristiLoweProductions.com. And then, of course, I'm on LinkedIn and Facebook and Twitter at Christi Lowe.
Awesome. Check out Christi. I'm sure she's going to be able to help you create better videos, and yeah, maybe you'll see her on a game show sometime soon. Maybe she'll win the whole
No,
jackpot.
no, only if it's maybe Wheel of Fortune, nothing else.
I'd like to be on Family Feud because that looks like fun.
It does look like fun, but I'd get upset and embarrass myself. So no Family Feud.
All right, folks, if you want to hear previous episodes, head over to hankhoffmeyer.com/Alexa. You can listen on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, almost anywhere you listen to podcasts. We're also on YouTube. Go check that out. Give it a like, subscribe if you like what you're seeing. And until next time, folks, don't be camera shy.